Welcome to the Parts and Labor Podcast, the podcast that explores strategies, systems, and stories that drive salon success. I'm Alicia, founder and CEO of SalonScale.
And I'm Whitney, head of sales here at SalonScale. Welcome to the Parts and Labor Podcast. Welcome back to another episode of the Parts plus Labor Podcast. I'm your host, Whitney.
And I'm Alicia.
And we are virtual again because, wouldn't you know it, it's still snowing here in Canada. And producer Casey didn't want to drive. We were all for it. We would have risked it, but we thought it'd be best to stay home today and not risk the roads. So here we are. And I expected you to talk after that. Just nothing. Okay, I'll keep going. And today I'm really excited for this episode because this is one of my favorite parts of doing this job, and that is the testimonials that we get. So that is anytime we get that ding from a salon owner, whether it's a text, whether it's a post that we see in the groups that we don't even know about, or whether it's coming directly to us of how much this has helped the business, how much money they've made, how easy of a transition it was, even though there was like a lot of buildup before about how scary it was, and just kind of the reward at the end, which is, again, makes us feel really great, warm and fuzzy inside. And so today we're going to read a couple of those and just kind of talk about them.
Love it. It's truly, I'm going to say the same thing too. It's like, it is the best because it's kind of like, it's the way of saying it's like, don't just take our word for it. Like, I know on our podcast, we like really talk about all these things. We give our kind of opinions and views on things but to hear this back, it's like, listen to what they're saying. And when we see those results and we do that, it makes us have, that confidence that we're doing the right thing. So I'm excited too to bring this because this is all really, for them and what some of our customers are saying.
Yeah. And that's a good point too, is because listen to them, because I like to point out, I've talked about this in our Parts and Labor webinar before. It's like we're not paying anybody to say these nice things. Sometimes it gets so repetitive and you'd think that it was like, if you see it on a comment, it's like you'd think that person's like getting something out of this, but it's, like when you're just so excited about something, when you find something that works and you just want to talk about it, like that is really the root of where that's coming from. And so we've chosen a few of our favorites today. I'm going to read my most favorite of all time as what I'm going to start with. I made Casey put this in here. I don't even know really how this was submitted. I think at some point we did like a tell us everything, and this person took the time to really comment thoroughly. So I want to start with this testimonial, again, one of my favorites. So, okay, this comes from Z. So after COVID hit, the increase in product costs has been insane. Also, I've been praying for a solution for myself and my staff. My goal for my staff is to make a living wage. It was difficult to introduce SalonScale to them. I had senior staff who were going to walk out if I implemented it. I felt this was a game changer for the salon and, more importantly, my staff. They could take home their entire commission, which meant no product fees taken out of their commission. The senior staff felt they would lose clients. I said, let's do it for 3 months. If this is an issue, we will revisit. It has been 3 years and it has saved me in more ways than any one solution. We have not lost one client, not one. We received all the scripts from SalonScale and made sure we were all saying the same verbiage. We haven't looked back since. It is absolutely what you need to recoup product usage, track waste, and even use for reordering. And my staff is making more money. My hat is off to the entire SalonScale team. Thank you. Truly, I'm your biggest fan. I love that.
I'm just like letting that take a moment in to hear it again. Like,
I know. I do, like, I find myself going back to that testimonial often because it kind of it hits really like all the bases. Like my staff it's a challenge to bring on. I would say like it hits the two objections we hear most why salons don't bring it on is like, my staff, it's going to be extra time. They're going to object to it. Kind of that bringing technology on, and we talked about this in our last episode. It's adapting new technology can be hard. can be a learning curve until you really kind of get the hang of it. And then once you adapt technology, it just all it does is make your life easier. But then to that second objection of like my clients, like again, back to our last episode, like that emotional, not focusing on profit, focusing on the emotion of like, what will my clients think? Like, what are my staff going to think? Instead of thinking like, this is what my business needs. So I like the way that she approached it too, and saying like, let's just do this for 3 months. And if it's not working, we'll revisit. But in those 3 months, it's like made more money. Clients probably like, not only did they not lose any, but we've heard this before. Actually, this is coming in another testimony we'll have, but you're giving you're giving everyone transparency. So whether it's your staff or your clients, transparency on what it's costing you to actually run the business and where the bill is coming from today. So that's one of the reasons why this is just my absolute favorite. It's just thank you, Z, for taking the time to write this. I don't think you probably anticipated when you did write it in how much this meant to us and how often we read this and really just how it makes us feel. So thank you for doing that.
It's also, I would say, echo that. Thanks to everyone that constantly gives us information like this and helps us help the next generation of salon scalers as well. Is we hear stuff like this, and even those little tactics is like, this is what I said to my team, is we take that information and then we pass that on to to anyone that's adopting the system after. And so it really helps to kind of keep generating that. But yeah, when you look at that, it's nice because it's true. And it's like every salon owner, when we get on the phone really early with the salon owner and like they have these kind of fears, it's like, well, listen to this, because like she was exactly where you were, and this is that. So if you want to feel like this now, if you want to hear that last statement, like now we never have to worry about that. If that's where you want to go, just know it's possible, because another
Mhm.
salon owner just like yourself did the same thing.
And I think that's what we hear often, like even our guests that we've had on our podcast, like Celine, how she talked about at first she was like chicken, right? Because it's like, but the clients, like it always goes back to like, but what will the client say? And then I can't tell you how often we hear this, like after we've onboarded a salon, got them up and running with parts plus labor, they're like, no one said a thing. No one said it, or like they appreciated it. And it went like it actually just made complete sense. It was just like it's the one thing, and it's hard to overcome when it's really stuck in your head, like the clients aren't gonna like this. But it's the one thing I just wish I could like give them a little crystal ball and say, you're going to do this and no one's going to care. No one's going to say anything. They're going to appreciate the transparency. You have no hidden fees, right? And so if you could just look into the future and know that this is going to fix all your problems, all those like rising product costs, like not paying yourself, like it goes back to like what's going to stop you from getting to here? Like you can worry about what the clients are going to say. You can worry about getting your stylist on board. You can worry about like what other salon owners think are going to say, but all of those will stop you from getting to here, which is where thousands of other salons are now, and just profitable and don't have to worry about those kind of same issues because they just let all that go and focus on the profit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, speaking about profit, I'm going to pull up the next one, because this one,
Never talk about profit.
well, this one's, more, of the actual like results, like, and so like, it's nice to get actual concrete numbers. And so this kind of testimonial, when it came into, was like wild, like what could happen in 30 days. Well, the testimonial was, love this. Love this. It saved me over $8,000 in the first year I used it by myself. So this year so far, it's been 10,000. And I believe I've been giving all this money away for 25 years. Some people complain about maybe the subscription, but when it saves you 10 times that amount in the first 30 days, there's no question,
Yeah. I love
right?
that. And I love that's from an independent stylist too. It's like $10,000 in a year. And I think that, yeah, she hits the nail on the head towards the end. It's like some people complain about the subscription cost. So on a demo, or, if you're even on our website, you hit that price and you think like, oh, like this costs more than this, or like this would be this, or I have to give up this. But it's like, again, you want to give them that crystal ball and be like, but you get this, but you really get like $10,000. You really get this. It's you, the return on your investment is this is a fraction. Like this is the lowest cost that we could possibly make it. And you still get this. And so it's nice to hear that too, and just kind of encouraging, like, yeah, it's like, yeah, we have bills, we're a company, like we have employees, we have bills to pay too. Like we have to charge something to continue to improve and provide this service. But this is really like it's to make you money. You know, a lot of people, she used the word saved too, which I always think is interesting because I get asked that a lot, like on calls, like, how much will this save me? I was like, it's not necessarily saving, you know, if you're focusing on waste, sure, it's like saving, but it's really about like generating new profit for you, making every single dollar count. And for independent stylists, I would say making sure, I think the biggest struggle um, that the ones I talk with face is knowing what to price, knowing what to charge. I spoke with a independent stylist the other day, and she said, I ran the report in my point of sales because you have to do it like at the end of the year. She's like, I discounted $12,000 off my base price, like as one person this year. And she's like, why did I do that? Like, why did I do that? And I think that's so common. It's like you think you're going to lose a client, or you for whatever reason, maybe they're telling you like a sad story, like, you know, because you do kind of become that therapist, or maybe they're talking about their personal life and you just want to discount or feel like you need to, or maybe it's not looking exactly like the inspo pic and you just discount. But it's when you really see the numbers, it's like, okay, either they need to pay for this, or I'm discounting what I'm actually making. And that's to the tune of like this testimonial says $8,000 to $10,000, even as one person.
Well, and exactly, you get, it pays you to do to do this expense, right? Like you think of it right away, it's an expense. And then just to get something like this, it's nice when you see them not only adopt the technology, but also adopt a method that also, creates, massive change in the business, which is important. Most people are, starting in that same position where they're like, things are rising and all this stuff. And I have all these, they're afraid to get started and add on another expense. And they generally are like, I don't know how to cover the costs, or my cash flow's not there, or there's waste. Like there's a lot of these things, but instantly, like in 30 days, like we see this is not only did we capture that missed loss, but we also created awareness, right? And like, so now, like she was aware of like really where the cash loss was in the business. And like, that's the best part, I find, is just getting, the education side of it too. It's like, not only do you adopt a technology, bring it in, take a risk, but we also get to see them, evolve and learn something more about their business so that it can build the confidence to continue to do what they do best.
Yeah, I can't tell you. So we had to be like a little bit choosy about these testimonials. We have lots to pick from, but I can't tell you like how many times we've seen, like, I felt like this brought legitimacy to my business. I feel like I have confidence in my trade. Like this is a professional way to charge. And so hearing that too is always a wonderful thing too, because again, this isn't a hobby. This is so you make money, right? Like there's no shame in wanting to be profit, have a viable career, make more than just a livable wage, like make good money. And so yeah, our hope is always is that this is the way to do that. So from there, unless you have any other thoughts on kind of that one, I can read our next.
Yeah,
Okay.
go for it.
Okay, let's see. I'm gonna choose, okay, I'm actually gonna choose the one below this. Okay, so this particular testimonial is coming from somebody who, you know, when you get like a new thing, it was like me with my Ninja Creamy. Like I got a Ninja Creamy, and then I probably sold like 10 other Ninja Creamies because I was so excited about it and talked about it and then made people feel like they had to have it too. A lot of these testimonials you'll see is that, like, as far as like if you're looking in like the Facebook groups or wherever, if you're seeing people comment, a lot of those kind of like initially, I made so much money, I have to tell people about this. A lot of those are just that. And this is one because I see her commenting about us a lot. And I would just want to say we are so appreciative of it. But it's really just, anytime there's like I'm not making any money. Like, how do you keep up with rising product costs? Like, how are you doing this? Like, what do you do for commission here? Because we're not making any money. This isn't sustainable. I see her comment, just do this. And so I'll read her comment. But again, she's probably put at least like 10 that I've seen. And again, I want to thank her for it. But she said, and this was a reply. She said, I can't say enough about using SalonScale. I was just doing payroll today and I can't believe how much more cash flow we have. So this would be obviously like using SalonScale, adopting a parts plus labor kind of model is those first like 30 days, just kind of like the testimonial before, like that is where you see like this huge switch of I cannot believe like all this cash was like available before and now it's flowing into my salon. I have it and it feels like game changer, like a dream, like something that salon owners didn't think that they'd be able to get that place with like a small tweak. And so I'm gonna stop talking because I have nothing else to say. Casey,
I
something.
I'm with you. Also, too, I have to say that my favorite is also seeing that, like when someone has like I have this problem in my business, I don't know how to do this, and then seeing our actual customers go in and like, no, like this is what it's done, and it's just so authentically a real person that is talking about their success with us, and those ones are amazing. But again, coming into that kind of cash flow reality is that like, in our salon business, most salons, they run month to month. There's money in, money out, and there's still money kind of coming in and out. But by the time payroll comes, like the counts really drop, and it's always like, where is the money going, right? And so when you see, this happen, where we see people that like get to understand where the cash loss is, and get that kind of change. That's why they are super loud about it, because it's almost that missing puzzle piece. It's almost that same common thing that every salon owner has, that is like, where is all this cash? And that's why, we see a lot of people that can't help but want to, help others and be like, no, 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 like this is hands down like exactly what you need to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right. Well, and also speaking of hands down, like that is kind of this next kind of statement that we got to, which was SalonScale hands down is the best to track product usage, so you're never undercharging, and it keeps record of your inventory. So I think sometimes even just coming into here is we see these common things like game changer, hands down the best thing, like it's a must. I couldn't live without this product. Like this is so important, because it's not just a FOMO product. It's not like, this is a nice to have. Like you can almost hear it when you read it, of like how impactful it was to them in their business. And that's what makes these kind of testimonials really, really mean something, because they really kind of show us a little bit more of what it's done for them in their business. And the best part is, even with this too, is like, we'll get things about the product. Like we rarely are going to be like, I absolutely love this part of the feature that does this thing. It's always about how it made them feel, how it gave them the freedom of this. Like it's always about how it transformed their life and their business. And so like, that's what makes, as someone who is now in the business of technology or selling software as technology, it's so amazing that it impacts more than just it's we're not hearing it makes it efficient, it does this thing, like it goes beyond that. And that's what makes it exciting to see that it actually does change the lives of a lot of these salon owners.
Yeah. I think there's one thing, there's switching to parts plus labor, what we've kind of always said is not a requirement to using SalonScale. There are always, although most of our, customers do choose that path, there are those that use SalonScale to just like track and be eye-opening and see the numbers, help with waste, help with inventory. But these, like the testimonials that we really talk about are those that do. Like that is because you can see your numbers and you can see like, okay, there's a problem, or what do I do about this? But like parts plus labor is how you fix the problem. It's how, like, that's the exciting part, right? Like tracking and seeing and wasting, and very eye-opening. And it's okay to start there if you're not quite ready for the model shift just yet. But to get to like really the keys to the kingdom, to get to like where all these are coming from, these reviews, like the cash flow, the excitement, like this fixed my this is parts plus labor. And I think I our goal really is with these testimonials from real salon owners is that it's not as scary as it sounds. It's not, it's something that should get you amped up to get excited about because really on the other side, and we have again thousands of salon owners that are already seeing this now, um, is an exciting, profitable place to be. It's probably what you had in mind when you originally opened the salon, whether you're an independent or whether you're a commissioned salon owner, getting to that place of just having money come in, getting to pay yourself, and having extra cash flow for the salon.
Yeah, it's honestly, it is. And it's like, I think too, I'm like, I always get so proud of like our company and our team because there is so much passion with all of us that, you know, can see the benefits, can know what's going on. So it's really truly that intersection. And a lot of the times too, the testimonials will always follow with like what we heard earlier. It's like, thanks to the entire SalonScale team, because it's also met with people that care. And so like, that's really such a proud moment of watching, you know, people have this success, but then also get to share it with people that truly care about your success. And it makes it like a little bit of like, I guess like the best kind of connection that we could see. But yeah, I think that the one thing I will say too is just on your whole conversation there on people starting with like tracking and getting to transfer, you know, good things take time, right? And sometimes they require the right timing or but the best place to start was yesterday. The best place to start was yesterday. Start with tracking, like start getting that kind of awareness. And this is kind of again what you'll like, you know, we'll see these happen. We'll see these transformational testimonials come through usually within their first 30 days. And they're, you know, it's exciting to see that they started from a place of being unsure, not knowing, to then all of a sudden fully transforming their business. And it's something that gives us great pride here to see that, because I truly think that like we're more than just a software, you know. We, based off what ROI we can produce to salons, we could probably charge 3 times as much for a subscription, right? You know, the average salon's going to get anywhere, it's like a solo is going to get anywhere from 10 to 25,000 a year, and a salon, a team-based salon is like anywhere from 25 to 75, sometimes $100,000. And so like if you think about that, like that's crazy. If the subscription annually is only $2,000, then I can get that, or you know, like that's a huge ROI. But it's more than that for us, right? It's always been more. So this is what echoes it back. Is like, I think that what makes me feel really proud is that um, they can see our kindness, they can see we care, they can see that we're truly trying to help, and then they then in turn feed that help to others. Like they then transform others. They you know, they spread the message, and that's really what it's all about.
Yeah, no, yeah, and I agree. I think that a lot of the company too, well, one being started by a commissioned salon owner who like felt this pain, who like originally did this, you know, in you were the first guinea pig for this. So it's like you know exactly what they're feeling, you know exactly how it feels to kind of get out of it and the pathway to do it. Like we have the blueprint to get you there. Just do a trust fall. We've got you. Like and but I think that and then having a lot of members of our team who are also actively like in the industry too and also get it or charge this way themselves and can explain it and really have that empathy and understanding of how things work and what you're going through, I think is important too. But yeah, absolutely as a team, that care is there. I mean, even when you think of during COVID, which was an awful time, I think it's like right when I started too. But you shifted your model to, I don't think you charge anything, did you, for a while?
Oh, for subscribers?
During COVID, yeah, when everybody was
Oh
shut down.
yeah. As soon as at that time, I think we had probably 300 salons, maybe more. And I made the choice for them. I was like, we're gonna pause everyone's subscriptions. Like no payments are going out during this time until we get back. And making that choice is like, so you mean to tell us we're going to cut all of our revenue for the next, foreseeable whatever? And I was like, yeah, because I want, like, if our mission is to put profit into salons, there's no way we're going to take it out of them while they can't operate their business. And I had to stand behind the mission, right? Like I had to stand behind like what we truly believe in. And so when we did that, that was a big choice. Like we had to like really, really lean into it. But it was crazy, honestly, at that time because we actually grew. We grew, I think, 120% in that quarter because while people were at home, they ended up wanting to come. So we basically shifted the whole model on like how we were going to, service people at that time. And it was such a like, beautiful thing out of a hard or uncertain kind of time to see that. But people had the time to really, lean into not only just setting up the tech, but learning, how they wanted to implement it. And that's really where we got a lot of growth from there. And then of course, the world kind of came back and we continued from there.
Prices have been high ever since.
Yeah.
But I would say too, like even to dive a little bit deeper into that, like you're you're running a business, you have bills to pay, you have family to feed, like I think a lot of people think of corporations of they just have like an endless supply of money, but and to the point of even during that time, to make that decision to pause, there are like senior members of the team that agreed to do like to cut their salary to be able to keep everybody on board, to keep this going so that we could continue to provide this service and to keep the team. And it was not, I think again, I think sometimes you think of these corporations as having an easier time. It wasn't that was a tough time for us too. That sucked. I mean, imagine a time where you can't take clients, where all of your customers can't open their doors, and it was really had to pivot. But ultimately, leading with kindness was the right move. It just was. It felt good and it was the right. And then again, you said you grew 120% from it. So it rewarded you to really kind of make that move. So bravo.
Well, at that time we had time with customers with like we had so much more face to face or virtual to virtual kind of time, and we had a lot of hard conversations as an industry. There's a lot of like we created lots of moments where we had together, we brought on people to have these hard like these conversations like what's going on in the world. And through that, we got to hear stuff like this. Like we got to really build the next steps are like, how else can we help? How else can we continue to grow? And so that was now it kind of was like a season two where we weren't just reading testimonials. We got to like actually hear people like say what was going on and what they're doing, and such a beautiful experience to have. And it's nice to see these kind of come in and see what happened through those choices and those decisions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
um so there's one more on here, and it's kind of more on that kind of client side of things. I'll read it out, and then I'd love to hear your kind of perspective on this last one here. But the comment was, "Hey there." So I'm actually really loving it, and I was pleasantly surprised my clients love it too. I wanted opinions from them on what they thought, and all of them loved it because they get to see exactly what they're being charged for, off the base rates I have. So I think I would like to move forward with this. Let's dive into it. Let's dive into that.
Yeah, so that sounds like somebody that gave the trial a shot, and we've seen that before, using the trial and saying, okay, if I were to charge you today for like I have this new technology, it's going to tell me exactly what we used during your service. How does that make you feel? And again, like that goes back to like the probably the number one objection I hear on why we don't want to get started. Like, but what will the client say? It's like, well, if somebody was going to tell you, hey, listen, I'm either going to charge you 20 bucks per bowl every time I go back and mix, or I'm going to put your formula into SalonScale and it's going to tell me exactly what we mixed on yours during your service today, and that's all I'm going to charge you for. Like which sounds better, right? Like if you were to get an oil change and they were going to say, "Hey, no matter what car you have, we're charging you 200 bucks." Well, if I have like a forecourt, like if I use way less than that, you'd want it to be accurate to what you paid, regardless. Like you'd want it to be fair, right? And so this is where really it comes from. And so when we take the time and really explain it, and again, get those scripts and that verbiage of like, you're just paying for what you use. Same with when you go get frozen yogurt, right? Like you don't, even frozen yogurt knows that they are taking a hit if they don't charge like exact, like the profit margin, like that's too small margins to not be exact. Because if you have a day full of clients and everybody's like me and they come and they fill their frozen yogurt up, like instead of just getting the little one scoop, like you're going to take a loss that day if you just kind of focus on the average. So it's just smart and it makes sense for every single party. It makes sense for the stylist, it makes sense for the owner, and it makes sense for the client because it's usage based too. So I think a lot of the times where stylists struggle with like what to charge or emotional discounting is like, well, there's no like you're just kind of winging it, It's just like, well, I use a lot of extra colors, so I'm just gonna add on 50 bucks. Or, you have these inflated extra bowl charges. I've talked about this a lot before, but these inflated extra bowl charges, like $20 to $30 or more, that are meant to cover like both the stylist time and all the product used. But it's awkward to add on like a $30 extra bowl. Like every time you go mix, it's awkward to add that much money on for just going to mix more. So that's when they get discounted off. It's like, oh my God, okay, I should add on like $100 worth of extra product that I went and mixed, like for based on $30 for an extra bowl. That doesn't equal 100. Of 30. But let's
Yeah.
say like, yeah, over $100 or $90 worth of product because you mixed up three extra bowls. It's like, well, that's gonna like I didn't quote them for that. Okay, so I'm just gonna take it off. I'm just gonna add one, or I'm not gonna add any. Well, now you're in a position where like that's their price, right? So next time they come back, if they want the same thing, or you're not gonna now charge $90 more. It's too gray. It's too gray. And when it's gray and you have a thin profit margin, that's we gotta be black and white. We gotta put profit first. We gotta think solely about the profit for right now. And then the emotional stuff can come second. But if you don't focus on the profit, you don't have a business.
You could not have said that better. It's true. And then it's also like you have to have awareness to like what is the problem. And so I think that's kind of really what we see here. And I'm like, I've been kind of scanning through our little testimonials channel. So, at SalonScale, we use Slack for our communication. So we always have a channel called testimonials. We just, whether they're in onboarding, whether they're brand new clients, like whatever, we found something online, we put it in there. And some of these things it's just such a joy moment of seeing people crush it, seeing people say, look at this solo, like her 1 year today, she's done another $8,440 this year. To seeing salon 20,000 I've seen on this list to I think $6,000 for another one here. And constantly we're seeing messages where it's like easiest yes I've ever made. It's a game changer for a salon. With the way the industry is today, you can't afford not to do this, right? So it's like having people, really just speak this is it really just shows the power of what's kind of going on, and something that we wanted to kind of share with everyone is just letting in that like what are people saying, what are the actual customers saying, and that was kind of the whole goal, is just kind of going through that. But it is the best ever to really see that. And now, I think this like episode is just really about kind of a little two-way street. Number one, sharing what customers, their testimonials, all that stuff. A little bit of a thanks and like love note back to our customers for doing that. And then for those that are, new and wanting to maybe try SalonScale, maybe like, this is the year that, we're taking those fears and we're putting them in the back seat and we're going for it. This is just showing the community you're gonna, join. This is the community side of it. So we really wanted to take that time to really highlight some of those moments that make us feel great as a company internally, but also, the results that are speaking for themselves, what it's doing for those businesses. And so I feel like this has been another amazing year. We're heading into our next year of just helping support salon owners to make that decision so that they don't have to feel that way, and get the results that we're seeing with all these others.
Yep. Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I would just say, like, once again, like, none of these people, we're not paying them to post anything. We're excited when we see it too, but take their word for it. Like, if you obviously, we want you to sign up for SalonScale, but instead of taking it from employees of the company, take it from like that real clients, because they will give you the honest opinion, the good, the bad. Ask the bad. Ask, how did your stylist feel? How hard was this to implement? Ask the bad. But like I said, all of these people that you're talking to have gotten through that, and you're in the place that you dreamed of becoming a salon owner and having that profit and the longevity of it too. You don't have to pivot in 2 years and try and find a different way to cover these color costs, because the only thing that is for certain is that they're going to continue to go up in price. And governments might say inflation is uh, an all-time low of 3%. Well, it's 3% off of like a 30% increase over like the last few years. And so when we think of these, like how inflation is going to look in the next few years, it's like, okay, well, it might go up 50 cents this year. And then a few years from now, it'll be $1. And then every year, like, 3% will look like a few dollars. And so this is a problem you want to fix now, because if you're struggling to keep up with those product costs now, not a fearmonger, but it's just like, but this is the way to do it. This is the way to these salon owners, these testimonials. One thing they don't ever have to worry about is how their color is paid for. It just is. Like, that's what it takes off the plate. Your color is paid for. It doesn't matter how big of a color order you need to do, how much you're going through. It's just going to be paid for. That is one thing that you can completely take off your plate, is how you're going to pay for that color. So that would be my advice to you. Again, like Alicia said, the best time to start is yesterday. Second best
That's
time
right.
is today.
When's the best time? Yesterday.
Yeah, you missed it.
No,
Yeah,
but
good 5.
in yeah, yeah. No, it's true. I think that very few things can you invest in that could give you, a return. First of all, return cash value, you'll get that, but the freedom, like seeing all the stuff of like the clarity and not having to have that kind of overwhelming, it really just helps, and we're seeing it in real time. We're seeing it happen with a lot of the salon owners that have said yes and continue to be with us, and then also pass that on. But I will say that for those that are listening to this, and you want to join the community and you want to learn a little bit more, I always say the best place to start is to learn and to get on the call with us, and or join our webinars. There's so many things that you can do to learn, and we're never going to push you into something that's not going to solve a problem for you, but we want to give you a place to identify what that is, and find that right fit. So if that seems like you and you're ready to make the change and be a part of our community, I say head to salonscale.com and go ahead and get started, and or come and on a call with us and learn more today.
Yeah, again, like a massive thank you to those who take the time to write in and to comment and to help other salon owners kind of cross this bridge to feel the way that you get to feel now too. So thank you so much. It really means a lot to us. And like Alicia said, we have a testimonials channel. So if you're doing it, like we're reading it, and we're really thankful. It makes us really proud, and grateful to be able to help. So thanks again for taking the time to do that. And they are probably great people to ask too, again, if you have any questions, or come right to the source, come to myself and Alicia, head to our website, book a demo. Again, like I said, there's no pressure. If it will suit your needs, we'll kind of figure that out on the call. And if not, no hard feelings.
Amazing. Thanks again for listening. See you on the next one.